photographing the Circle of Fear. This has got to be the most easiest crowd. How many people remember Richard Burton? You said that to a young crowd, you get nothing. Okay, so anyway, I was able to get past security, and I was standing right in front of Richard Burton. And I said, Richard Burton, I said, sure, I got to take a picture of you. He said, sure. With my hand shaking, and he was about from here to here, and I took that picture, and I ran it to the Post. And the Post published that picture in the New York Post. And let me tell you, when I saw my photograph in the New York Post, I said, this is what I wanted to be, this is what I wanted to do. And photography became a vehicle to speak for me. It gave me a voice. It gave me a reason to be. It gave me a reason to exist, man. And that was the beautiful thing about photography. I ended up going to Los Angeles, you know. I ended up walking onto the set because I always carried my camera around, and they were doing this big production at the Paramount. And it turned out to be they were photographing a show by Howard Hessman called We Love Rock and Roll. It was Howard Hessman, James Brown, Grace Slick, Frankie Valli, all of them. And I was able to get past security again. It ended up in there. And I was photographing. And I latched on to a publisher named Bonnie Sweeney, who happened to have been James Brown's publisher for over 20 years. And man, she sent me on all the assignments in Hollywood. And I want to tell you, man, I'm photographing this person, blah, blah, blah. I'm photographing this person, blah, blah, blah. These are people who I see on TV, people who I thought I would never be next to. For that split second, are working for me. Mr. So-and-so, can you do this? Mr. So-and-so, do that. And my work appeared in publications all around the world. I'm going to leave my portfolio up here, and anytime while I'm here, you can come through, you can look at it, and you can see some of the publications where my work has appeared in. At this time, I had a woman, she was having my child, and she was determined not to be blinded by the celebrities, by the stars and everything like I was. So she just, I'm not going. So when I put the camera down and left these photo shoots on one of these assignments, I didn't know what to do with myself. So I ended up in the back rooms. I ended up in the back rooms as celebrities, and what they were doing drugs. So that's what I did. I did what they were doing because I figured I'm with the in crowd, man. Yeah, man, pass me that, man. Yeah, I want to do that. Yeah, man, I'm cool. I'm the photographer. Yeah, like this, whatever. And next thing you know, man, I was off in addiction. I mean, I was lost in addiction for about 15 years. I mean, I'm telling you, I lost my children twice. There was one time I had a gun put in my mouth and told the guy to shoot me because it was easy for him to kill me than I going home and tell the mother of my kids that I spent that money against. You know, I remember sitting in an alley somewhere with a gun in my hand, waiting to shoot somebody, you know, to pay off a drug debt. You know, by the grace of God, that never happened. But see, that's a journey that drugs took me on. My cameras and all that stuff were gone, man, because I was lost in that road of addiction. I ultimately went to prison. You know, I did 3 years, and when I came out, man, I didn't look back. I mean, I went back to what I knew how to do, and that was photography. And that's one thing that I was very grateful for, because I had 30 years of my life drug-free, where I knew how to live, I knew how to pursue a goal, I knew how to dream, I knew how to put drive behind me and make something happen. And that's why I feel a lot of sad for a lot of people today, you know, because they don't have that space of sanity. It's a lot of kids and a lot of young people are born into drugs and addiction and don't know what it is like to pursue a dream and a goal. So anyway, so I was on parole and what have you, and my parole officer let me take pictures. And it just so happened that the Democratic caucus in Southampton, Al Gore was flying in. And they called me and said, Gerard, we want you to photograph Al Gore flying in on Air Force 2. I said, well, you know, I'm on parole. I can't. They said, Gerard, we want you to do it. Don't worry about it. We got you covered. Because I turned in my Social Security number. And so I showed up there, and I gave my number, and the Secret Service went over, and they said, come here. They whispered, and they came on and said, okay, look, you take your picture and get the hell out of here. I said, okay. No problem. So I took my picture, and when I went back to parole, I told them, because you had to tell them if you ever had police contact. And I said, yeah, I have police contact. They said, but who? I said, the Secret Service. They said, get out of here. But I have a little badge, what they gave me and everything, and they turned parole upside down. They wanted to shut me down and everything. And the wife said, no, this is a good thing. You know, because this is something that never has happened to them. And the reason I tell that story, because it's important for people to know that if you have something to offer, and if you're good at what it is you do, can't nobody take that away from you. And people are going to want that as long as you're true in doing what it is that you want to do. You know, so I haven't looked back. You know, today I launched my own magazine because I became so far behind in the digital age. I launched a magazine called SGIB, which is a children's magazine. It's in English and Spanish. It's Long Island's first urban bilingual music magazine. So I launched that, and that's something I did on my own, something I know I can do for myself. So when people tell you that you can't do things, you don't listen to it because you can. So I was able to do that. So today, I'm so happy and so blessed to be back in my field, man. I mean, it's nothing like photography. Right now, I'm trying to open up and try to expose it to young people, because sometimes I think that's the answer, man. You put a camera in their hand, let the media, you let them go out and say what it is they feel and show what it is that they, what they're doing and what they're into, man. Because I know what it's done for me. I know what photography has done for me. I know what photography is doing for me now to this day. Currently I write the newsletter for Al Sharpton. I'm one of Al Sharpton's private photographers. I used to shoot for James Brown. This canvas right here is the one I've done on Michael Jackson. I was only photographer. And that's one thing that's lost today as far as my doing freelance work. I relish in being the only camera in the room. I relish in being invited to Gerard. We want you to come and take the picture. About 3 weeks ago, I was at Mr. Sharpton's downtown office with him and Jesse Jackson. They haven't been together for years, and I was the only one in there with a camera. I was the only one there, and to be called, to be trusted, to say, Gerard, we want you to do it. It's a good feeling. This picture here was one I took of Michael Jackson when he was having his problem at Sony. Some of you may remember that, and he went to Sharpton and asked for him to help, and they went in the office, and with Johnny Cochran, I took this picture. And it turned out to be a picture that has been on Channel 5 News. It's been shown around a lot. And I'm very proud of it. I can't show you all the work I've done, but I've done so much. I know what photography has done for me. I know what it is living each day, with the choice. Because I know what it is of having your choices taken away from you when it's taken away from you by drugs. You know what I'm saying? You don't have a choice. Because you live, you wake up, you're like a shark, and you do what you do. The most valuable thing I have on me today is not money, it's not gold, it's this letter. Because this letter, I sat on my bed my last day in prison, just before I was ready to release. And I wrote in this letter all the things that I hated in prison, all the things I didn't like. The count, being told what to do, probably a couple of meals every meal. But I know that if ever I feel like that what I'm doing is leading me back to jail, apparently I've forgotten I need to open up this letter, because I mailed it to myself. By the grace of God, there have been some close calls, because I'm not perfect. But I've had this letter, and I said, well, I have a choice today. Don't give up your choices, Gerard. And I don't give up my choice. So I have a motto that's called Dreams, nothing more than plans awaiting action. I have a motto today that's simply called Dreams are nothing more than plans awaiting action. Never disrespect the elderly and always pull someone up. And sometimes you're the only one who can see your vision. And the best we bring to life is what? To live good. I'm living good today, and I hope you are too. Thank you very much.